As if we didn't have enough Democrats in high-level positions doing enough skeezy shit, we still have those ones from Texas who hopped on the flight and flew over to Washington to avoid voting on all these racist voter integrity bills. And yeah, now they finally returned, and then they broke quorum once again, and then no arrest warrants were sent out there in order to bring them back so they could just fucking finish these special sessions. But they ended up trying to skirt them. And then initially yesterday, I was going to do this story yesterday, but there was so much fucking news out there, something had to get cut. And I am glad at the end of the day we waited to report on this for a reason we'll get to in a moment. But a judge blocks arrest of Democrat lawmakers, easy for me to say, who fled state over new voting laws. Yeah, okay, so it was touch and go. It was a little bit questionable if they had the jurisdiction, if Governor Abbott, if the Speaker of the House, Representative Fallon, had the right, had the authority, had the standing in order to issue some sort of an arrest warrant in order to make sure that those Democrats would stay and be there to vote, because at the end of the day, it is their job, and there should be some sort of means and methods to enforce and make sure that that happens. And according to this first judge, no, they didn't in fact have that standing, and they could continue this fucking dog and pony show for as long as humanly possible. Let's see his justification for this. A judge ruled in favor of Texas Democrats who fled the state last month to block a Republican-backed voting law. Again, there's multiple other laws that are there to just waiting to be voted on, so blocking House Speaker Dade Fallon, I thought it was Dave, whatever, and other officials from arresting the lawmakers. State District Judge Brad Urnita, Urinehead, a Democrat, really, you don't say, signed the order on August 8th, issuing an injunction that prevents Fallon, a Republican, from arresting and detaining the Democrats. Dozens of lawmakers last month fled the state and went to Washington to protest the law by denying Republicans a quorum, which is needed to start the legislative session. The order prevents Fallon, Republican Governor Greg Abbott, and the Texas Department of Public Safety from detaining, confining, or otherwise restricting the House Democrats' movement without his or her consent, and also prevents them from issuing warrants or other instruments demanding the detention, confinement, or other restrictions of a Texas House Democrats movement. Texas law, Eurudia, I'll eventually get it right, not like I really care, because his opinion in this has already been overruled, so whatever, doesn't provide the physical confinement of lawmakers who have committed no crime. Interesting you'd phrase it that way. The order, however, will expire in 14 days unless it is extended. Oh, don't worry about that. The Texas Supreme Court allows for arrest of Democrats who didn't show up to the Capitol. It actually turns out that you weren't reading the law correctly, my dude. Sucks to suck. The Texas Supreme Court on Tuesday voided a lower court... Christ, I'm having a bitch of a time reading today. A lower court's order that restricted Texas House Speaker Dade Fallon's authorization to arrest and detain state Democrats who fled the state in July to block a GOP-backed voting overhaul bill. The High Court issued a stay of Travis County State District Judge Brad Urida's order, giving Democrats until Thursday to issue a court filing in response. Fallon and Governor Greg Abbott, both Republicans, have asked the court to overturn the order by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. They had asked the Texas Supreme Court to overturn Urida's order, arguing that he stopped them from exercising their constitutional authority to arrest and detain the lawmakers who broke quorum. Compelling the attendance of its members is a prerogative given to the House by the Texas Constitution. Yeah, the two Republican leaders said in their petition to the court. It's exactly the same as hiring somebody and giving them an assigned time to follow, to show up first thing in the morning, giving them a schedule, and then them just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work whenever I want to and show up whenever I want to, and you can't fire me and you can't hold me responsible for it. Okay, cool, fine. I bet you that has never worked ever, but apparently the House Democrats thought that that was cool there, and then stupid Judge Urita agreed with them. Fucking bold move. Let's see if it works out for him. In a statement on Tuesday after the Supreme Court's ruling, Abbott's office claimed victory, saying the Supreme Court of Texas swiftly rejected this dangerous attempt by Texas Democrats to undermine our Constitution and avoid doing the job they were elected to do. That's what I've been talking about since the outset of this. We look forward to the Supreme Court upholding the rule of law and stopping another stall tactic by Texas Democrats, the statement added. Democrats in response said they would attempt to fight for a temporary injunction at the district court level. Yeah, because they're sympathetic. The Supreme Court not having any of this shit, but yeah, you know what, this one fucking Democrat judge out there, he thinks that, yeah, he has the inside track. Okay, weird. It is no surprise that Republican Governor Greg Abbott and House Speaker Dade Phelan want to arrest their political opponents. Do your job. Nobody would get arrested. Do you ever consider that maybe you're the problem in the situation? That maybe it's not everybody else, guys? Like, I don't know, maybe taking a little, this might be a little bit foreign to some Democrats out there, but taking some personal responsibility. If you don't like the laws, continue to do a good job, and maybe one day your party will be able to, I don't know, do this mythical thing like flip Texas blue. If you just represented the people you were elected to represent properly, maybe you'd garner some support that way. But nah, just bitching and complaining is far more fun. You can grab more headlines that way, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, cool. Oh, whatever. Thankfully is still... my mistake. Thankfully, this is still the United States of America. We will defend the freedom to vote, and we look forward to our temporary injunction hearing on August 20th. Representative Trey Martinez Fisher, Gina, who don't give a shit who the rest of these losers are. Nobody is holding your right to vote hostage. Not a single person, okay? They're just telling you that, hey, you should probably show up and do your job and vote. Or don't vote. Don't care. Just you being there is non-negotiable. That's the job that you ran for. You should probably consider doing it. In the meantime, some Democrat lawmakers started returning to Texas, according to local media. There's no way I'm going to go to that House floor while I've got the protection of a judge's order. Representative Celia Israel, a Democrat, whatever, told the Texas Tribune on Tuesday before the Supreme Court's ruling. Yeah, well, looks like you're going to have to take it up with someone who cares. Just stop fucking complaining, you goddamn losers. You almost died because you almost all got the coup, for God's sakes. Like, come on, you should be thankful for what you have. But they're not going down without a fight, because now we're living in the fucking Saul Goodman timeline on this one. Oh, he hurt my feelings and my shoes fell off. For fuck's sakes. Texas Democrats who fled sue Texas Governor Greg Abbott for causing anxiety and embarrassment. When being a part-time representative in the great state of Texas is too much of a burden for you. When you become too anxious, you just can't even look at that Capitol in Austin, Texas without it bringing a tear to your eye. Or, thinking back on that time when we took that picture with nobody wearing masks side by side in that closed encasement of the fuselage of that airplane. Oh my God. I get so embarrassed, and it's all mean wheelchair man's fault. Gimpy man bad. About 24 state Democrats have filed a lawsuit against Texas Governor Greg Abbott for allegedly causing distress, anxiety, embarrassment, and my feelings got hurt after they left the state to deny the Republican majority in the state house the ability to start a special legislative session over a voting overhaul legislation. The lawsuit was filed by 22 House Democrats against Abbott and House Speaker Dade Phelan, both Republicans, late last week. Abbott has called for the arrest and detainment, and it looks like he's going to be successful in said calling for, of Democrat lawmakers who left the state last month, while Phelan placed the chamber under a call in an effort to regain the quorum, citing the Texas Constitution, and later signed a civil warrant of State Representative Philip Cortez. The lawsuit also claims that some Democrats are being targeted because of their... everything is racist, everything is sexist, and they have to call it out. It's their responsibility. Could you imagine being an elected representative, being somebody who has such high status within the state, and then thinking that, we're not doing our job, and the only reason that they're calling us out, and the only reason why they're trying to make us come back is because we're brown women of color and power. Could you fucking imagine? But the bulk of their suit alleged that Abbott, Phelan, and other Republicans in the House attempt to deny, coerce, threaten, intimidate, and prevent. Felt like I should have done that in a black preacher voice, but all these people have fucking sucked the life out of any enthusiasm that I would have had for this. That's what these people do to you. The lawsuit claims $5 in actual damages and $10 in punitive damages. There are the names on the screen of all of those fucking losers that, if there was any justice in the world, they would probably be just thrown by their waistband and shirt collar into the fucking state house, one after another. They're shackled to their fucking desks until all the voting was over, and then summarily impeached for all of the fucking theater that they put on over the past couple of months, because that's exactly what these people deserve. Nothing more, nothing less. And hey, yeah, maybe just give them a $5 on the way outside the door, and hopefully that can kickstart something useful that they'll do with their life. I find it hilarious. Based on the Supreme Court ruling, I don't think that this will go anywhere. This is just another one of those, look at how mean and racist and evil the Republicans are. Okay, cool. And for their part, Phelan and Abbott, They're at least standing their ground and they aren't fucking biting in on this. But perhaps there's also an ulterior motive. Maybe these House Democrats, they want to go back up to Washington because they see the abomination of people that are being invited back into the White House. And I got to tack this one on here because it's a story that's probably getting a couple days long in the tooth, but it has to be pointed out as well. For the party that's all about optics, why are they doing this? Okay, because I don't know who this appeals to. They bring in this like super ultra femmy fucking TikTok influencer to, I don't know, just prance about the White House in order to propagate the idea that everybody needs to get the jab. I need not tread over any of my opinions on the vaccine itself because we do that every other fucking day and I'd like to take a day off from that shit. But why do they think that this is a good look? Why would they bring that disaster Benito Skinner, maybe that's his name, I don't fucking know. Like, if you feel like you don't have enough cancer in your life, or maybe you just need a little bit of a AIDS diagnosis on top of that, feel free to watch the video. There's a link in this article as well, and it'll be in the description as well. But seeing this, a lot of people were just being like, oh my god, take a look at that. But something, oh, I can't stand that picture, it creeps me out. Something that really struck me when I seen this was a boner. No, I'm just joking. Was the fact that this is exactly like what was happening 100 years ago. Democrats always want a champion, okay? Like, they want to be the champion of the alphabet community, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I don't partake, nor do I really care. It's just whenever they want a representative from that community, they pick the most flamboyant, outward-facing gays that they could possibly find, or I don't even know what the fuck this disaster is, wearing a skirt to the fucking White House and trying to be taken seriously. It just reminds me of a fucking old minstrel show, where they just want their caricature of a black to be up there and go, oh yay, isn't this so funny, isn't this our entertainment? Now they're doing that with gays. It's fucking weird and gross and really just sits wrong with me. I like the way that this guy sits, because it's normally on a chair affixed with a fist, but like, it's just all a show all the time. And if you wanted to be taken seriously, if you didn't want to come across as being a fucking degenerate, and I know that those calls out there from like legitimate lesbians and gays and bisexuals and trans people, they don't like this whole hypersexualized thing. They just want to live their life, and where they stick their junk is kind of tertiary to what their overall experience for being a human being is. It's just these fucking play actors. They take that and they run with it, and it's quite honestly sickening. And yeah, people just call it out as being, oh, isn't that shocking? Isn't that stupid? The lol, just fucking try to own the libs whenever they do something stupid and don't really push forward anything important. And yeah, perhaps maybe that's what I'm doing here, but at the same time, you don't see that from the other side. You really don't, because they're the ones, oh, we're all about the alphabet community, and we'll just get the most flamboyant people to come across, and we'll just tell you how supportive we are of that community. Just please believe us, don't look at any of our receipts, and just goes to show you that nobody really wants to put any money where their mouth is. They just want to go ahead and pay lip service. Not the kind that they would prefer, but, you know, they'll just give you the platform, pay you with exposure, as it were. I've been saying it for a while, and it's been true for much longer than that, but the Democrats are the party of the optics, okay? They are all about their outward-facing features, not about any of the substance. Don't bother looking at any of that. It's just about the message that they can put out there. And that's why Cuomo's getting sacrificed. That's why this genetic dead end is out there. And that's why they also have the audacity of putting out messages like how to deprogram right-wingers. Not quite on the screen, but just for that, you can kind of sort of see that. And I'd imagine if you're on a phone, you probably can't, but it's a clip from the David Pakman show. If you don't know who that is, you're a part of a very large group, but I'll just go ahead and explain it to you. He's one of these left-wing pundits who do the exact same type of stuff, except for it's a very sleek presentation, and they'll just go ahead and make up edgy titles like, how do you deprogram right-wingers? I don't think anybody needs to be deprogrammed. You don't see this type of talk on the other side. It's just more or less like, oh, okay, what do you know about the situation? It's more or less providing solutions, offering more information out there in order to have a conversation, in order to argue towards the greater good. Something else that we spoke about in the past couple of days as well is that if we're all arguing towards a common good, we could have nicer things, okay? But when you have the other side just saying, how do you deprogram right-wingers so that they can think exactly like me, so they can receive the same NPC updates. You can continue to chant the party line over and over again. You don't have to think about it, bro. You just follow the science all the time. And then it's just an odd choice for a thumbnail as well. It's just a guy with a Trump hoodie and a Trump hat with a Trump flag. I know, I'm literally shaking looking at that. It's very frightening. It's just probably somebody dressing up for a Trump rally. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Up here in northern Alberta, I can tell you, I've seen a few Trump flags. I've seen some Trump bumper stickers slapped on the side of some different post office boxes. I find it hilarious. And if that triggers you, sucks to be a snowflake, I guess. But it's like, this is the rhetoric ramp up, okay? It's not enough to have disagreements anymore. The left always accuses you, oh, you have a mental illness. Oh, there's something clearly wrong with you because everything that I think is clearly correct. Something that I'm very proud of. I don't tell anybody how to live their life. I just give them the tools that led me to believe what I believe, and then hopefully that helps somebody else out there. And if it has for just one person, I'm fucking over the moon ecstatic for that. And the fact that I get to talk with so many great people on a fairly consistent basis, it's more support than I ever expected. I can just leave it right there. Thank you very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.